Is Alex O'Connor the new Apostle Paul? Alex O'Connor is one of the most interesting atheists of our time. He has seen through many of the fallacies of the old atheists, engaged with many Christian thinkers in his search for truth, and says that if God were just to grant him one religious experience, he would become the most prolific Christian apologist you've ever met. Alex said this in a recent discussion with Justin Brierly in response to Justin's suggestion that Alex could be the new Apostle Paul.
I mean, maybe you're the next Apostle Paul, and it's your your wonderful conversion straight after this show, Alex. Which finally,
all I'm asking for is something just like what Paul experienced. I tell you, Justin, if I experience even just in the form of a flash of light, like St. Paul, although dubious circumstances, I have to say, but even something just like that, just once, just one time. Listen, here I am, and then gone. I could live on that for the rest of my entire life. Just because a lot of people say, well, one reason why God is hiding himself is because if he made himself, constantly present in your life, it would be like having a father figure staring over your shoulder. I agree, but I'm not asking for God to sort of hold my hand through this lived experience. I'm asking once. Okay. And not even for like an overwhelming religious experience with a big waterfall and I fall to my knees, but just enough to form a belief that he exists. If I can have just that, just once, then I'll become the most prolific Christian apologist that you've ever met.
So what would it mean for Alex to be the new Apostle Paul? And is Justin's suggestion likely to happen? Well, there are a number of big differences between the two. The Apostle Paul, or Saint Paul, was a Jewish rabbi, a highly respected and devout Pharisee, and a strong man of faith in God. But he initially believed that the new sect of Judaism being promoted by the disciples of Christ was a heresy. Paul was actively trying to stamp out this new Jewish sect and was on his way to Damascus in Syria to further this aim when he was struck blind by the voice of Christ, who told him that he was a chosen vessel to take the gospel to both the Jews and the Gentiles. This archetypal Christian conversion experience transformed Paul into the most prolific Christian evangelist and scholar of his day, leading him to write 13 of the 27 books of the New Testament, travel over 7,000 miles on 4 missionary journeys around the Mediterranean, and plant around 20 churches. Alex O'Connor has studied this and knows what it would mean to be a modern-day Apostle Paul. Clearly, if he does receive a similar vision, he is ready and willing to devote himself to the service of Christ and the gospel. Perhaps this will happen. Justin Brierly has suggested that we are on the edge of a Christian revival in the West, and a number of high-profile figures such as Russell Brand and Ayaan Hirsi Ali have recently embraced Christianity. However, God rarely meets us in the way that we would like or expect. History tells us that God is wild and unpredictable. One problem with very intelligent people like Alex is that they are often quite good at constructing naturalistic explanations for evidence that points towards God, and this includes religious experiences. Many people who base their faith on a religious experience end up losing it as the experience fades and as other psychological explanations are considered instead. The most solid Christian faith, in my view, is based on a deep knowledge of biblical history, which Paul already had before his conversion. The big difference between Paul and Alex is that Paul already had a biblical view of history, whereas Alex has an evolutionary one. Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection is not just a theory, it is a paradigm, a grand narrative by which all else must be explained. The problem Alex has is that he has absorbed this grand narrative and refuses to seriously question it by engaging with the massive amount of counter-evidence that has stacked up over the past few decades. This commitment to evolution is seen in his odd lack of engagement with proponents of intelligent design, which is the movement that has been highlighting this counter-evidence. It is also seen in Alex's evolutionary approach to explaining religion. Once you accept the evolutionary story, religions, like everything else, have to be explained as evolutionary adaptations rather than historical truth. So, will Alex have a conversion experience and become the new Apostle Paul for the 21st century? I hope so. He would certainly be good at it. But however it happens, it will have to involve shining a light on his false evolutionary worldview and his acceptance of the compelling evidence for intelligent design in nature. It is my view that Alex's faith in Darwinism would not survive a long-form discussion with someone like Stephen C. Meyer, who heads up the Discovery Institute in Seattle, which is the intellectual home of the intelligent design movement. Alex recently released a video commentary on Meyer's discussion with Piers Morgan about why the universe requires a transcendent cause. However, rather than engaging with Meyer directly, Alex only criticized Morgan's misunderstandings of the argument. This seemed like attacking low-hanging fruit. Alex, why have you not invited Meyer on your podcast? His absence is starting to look like you are avoiding him. If you really hope Christianity is true and would become a prolific evangelist if you were persuaded of Christianity's essential truth, you need to talk to Stephen Meyer. This is Dan Stone, the Rational Creationist. Please see my website, swallowingtheredpill.com, for more information.